friends, how are we doing today? I hope that you're well. Today I'm going to talk to you about homeschooling sick kids. And what do? You know, you've been flying through homeschool and, well, not flying through, but you've been, doing good, getting your homeschool days in, doing the work. You're right where you need to be, and oh no, little Johnny has ended up sick. What do you do? Well, of course, as a mom, you know what to do with your sick child. That's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying, do you homeschool them when they're sick? Or do you have a day off? There is no wrong answer, just putting that out there. And there are lots of different ways to handle this. And lots of different families handle it lots of different ways. So we just started school like 2 weeks ago, or 2 weeks into school. Tobias this weekend wasn't feeling well, and yesterday he ended up being quite sick, just for like part of the day. Mom said by evening he was actually feeling much better. She took him to the doctor and everything yesterday, like one of those clinics, because we wanted to make sure he didn't have an ear infection or strep throat. And they tested him for COVID, the flu, looked in his throat and his ears and said it's viral. So just a little viral thing that passes through, and he has gotten, his immune system's gotten so much better here lately. And she said by yesterday evening, he was feeling great. And this morning she said he's never ran a fever. He hasn't coughed, nothing like that. It was just he just didn't feel good. He said he had a sore throat and his belly hurt, and he ended up throwing up a couple times. And so I'm like, okay, well, we're definitely not doing school tomorrow, because what happens is, I'm an older lady. I'm gonna scoot this back just a little bit. So I am an older woman, and I have an autoimmune disease, and I am on medication that lowers my immune system. And so I try really hard not to be around sick people. Sometimes it just happens, but if I can help it, I try not to be around people that are sick. So what we do is, if one of the kids gets sick, then generally they don't come to my house. We either homeschool, like a Zoom homeschool type thing, or I will give her things to do and she'll do them at home. I send videos, some YouTube videos that I want them to go over with concepts that we're doing via text messaging, and they watch those together, and that's how we handle it. Now, if he's super sick, if he can't get out of bed and is just really, really sick, of course he would get the day off or the week off if he needed it. But that's how we handle Tobias, because we're kind of in I hate to say not even a normal situation of homeschooling, because I'm the grandparent homeschooling him. And he comes to my house twice a week, and then I go to their house one day a week, and then mom handles a day of the week of homeschooling. If you've been following along, you already know this. If not, if you're new here, then that's how we handle that. That's how I homeschool my grandson. He's 6, his name's Tobias, he's autistic. Things did not go well in the public school system, and we had to pull him out homeschooling. Just kind of doing a little introduction in case you just stumbled upon this video. I am Leisha from Amazing Adventures of Mom. Don't forget too, friends, if you're not following me on Instagram or Facebook, to go ahead and do that. Facebook is Amazing Adventures of Mom. Instagram, I have 2 accounts, Amazing Adventures of Mom, which deals with all things mom life, and then Homeschooling Mimi, which basically is just about homeschooling Tobias, and what I homeschool my own children too, my 3 boys, who are all grown now. So that's what we do, and it's kind of a unique situation. Although I have seen more and more grandparents or aunts and uncles, or close relatives helping homeschool their nieces, nephews, grandchildren, what have you. And that is wonderful. It takes a village to raise a child, they say, and family should be front and foremost in that village. So, and then let's talk about like a more traditional homeschooling where mom or dad are in the home and the kids live with them, or if the kids live with the grandparents, that happens, or the aunts and uncles, that happens too, and you're homeschooling. Then generally, okay, let's just say David, he's my youngest, 18 now, he's in college, graduated last year. Things are going great for him so far. But what we used to do, if he was like truly sick, like couldn't get out of bed, running to the restroom, or just, high fever, didn't feel very good, didn't feel well at all, then a lot of times I wouldn't expect anything out of him, because his body just needs to rest at this point. A lot of times when they're sleeping a lot or just lying around, not wanting to do much of anything. But my rule of thumb is, if you can get up and play a video game or watch TV, then you can watch an educational video with me for a moment, or we can read together. And then, it depends on the level of sickness. That may be as far as we get. Now, if you have a cold and you're able to get out of bed, you just don't feel the greatest, we'll do like a half day of school. If it's just, not very much, you just kind of feel a little under the weather, we will still do a full day of school. That was how I dealt with David and my other two, Thomas and Justin, when we homeschooled them. I mean, homeschooling, is flexible, so you can miss days if you need to. And you just make it your own. And that's one of the most beautiful things ever about homeschooling, is how you can make it your own. And I think that is something that I enjoy tremendously. When I homeschooled my kids and homeschooling my grandkids, we can kind of decide what needs to be done and how it needs to be done. And I really like that. Coffee break. So my question to you, though, is, what do you guys do when your kid's sick? Do you continue on as normal, give them a day off, or kind of do like we do, movies, videos, documentaries? Oh, those are wonderful. Nature documentaries used to be our saving grace when we were sick. And also, on the other hand too, what about when you're sick? Do you still homeschool sick? Do you take the day off? What do you do? So on that front, if I was sick, it was kind of the same thing. If I was so sick I couldn't get out of bed, obviously not a whole lot was going to get done, because you may have very self-motivated children. I did not. None of my children were self-motivated. If I was sick, I still had to remind them, hey, this needs to be done, that needs to be done, that needs to be done. So if I was real sick, I would try to get them, hey, remember your independent work, try to get that done. Or let's go sit in the living room and watch a documentary. Now, as they get older, though, they should be able to have a full day of school without you, beyond group subjects and stuff like that. But any independent work, just because you're sick doesn't mean your child skips it. And when they're younger, though, it's a different story. So that again, so how do you handle it if it's your children sick? How do you handle it if it's mom sick? Leave me the answers down below. I really am curious to see how other people handle sickness in the homeschool. And that's it. That's all I really wanted to talk about on this video, is what do you do, And also one of the things too, that early on homeschooling, I know I always remember something at the end. I'm not here she's gonna let us go, and then I'm like, no, wait more. Anyway, so one of the things that I used to think early on in my homeschooling career was that, oh my God, if we take a day off, we're gonna be behind. And the more I homeschooled, the further I got in homeschooling. So I'm at 14 years now of homeschooling. The further I got in it, I realized that you're not really behind. The public schools and private schools, the workbooks and stuff they did. I remember when my kids were in public school and they would bring home workbooks at the end of the year, and maybe a quarter to half of it was done and the rest wasn't. They didn't cover everything. it's impossible to cover everything in a year. So like scrub that out of your heads. You're not behind. You just pick back up where you left off when you get back to school and after the sickness, and you go on about it, ladies and gentlemen, whoever's watching. But yeah, okay, I'm really gonna let you go now. All right, I'll see you next time. Don't forget to leave me a comment, give me a thumbs up, subscribe, and push your bell notification button so you don't miss another amazing episode. Bye guys, see you next time.